Hi, my name is Kendall Bradshaw, and this is my presentation on SDG 6 Clean Water and Sanitation. So, looking at the background of SDG 6, it is to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. So, the goal of this is to access safe water, sanitation, and hygiene is the most basic human need for health and well being. Water is essential not only to health, but also to poverty reduction, food security, peace, and human rights, ecosystems, and education. Overall, countries face growing challenges linked to water scarcity, pollution, degraded water related ecosystems, and cooperation over transboundary water basins. So first I started with taking the SAS Gather IQ SDG 6 quiz. Question was what one was in the first section of the data story, how much clean water is available? So we can see that countries around the world are seeing a decline in the amount of fresh water available overall. That was the overall trend. Number two, which country has the least amount of fresh water available per person? The answer was Bahrain, and it is an island country located in the Middle East, but is mostly desert, so its citizens have little fresh water for drinking and sanitation. Looking at question three, it says how many cubic meters of fresh water are available per capita on the island nation in the southern or southwestern Pacific. So it says in Papua New Guinea, the lush tropical rainforest help provide over 107,000 cubic meters of fresh water per capita. Looking at number four, it says true or false for how many countries in Central Africa less than 85% of the population have access to clean water. And this one was true. Lastly, was question five, and it says what percentage of the population had access to clean water in 2015? The population of Papua New Guinea is largely rural, living in small villages, many of which have their own language and lack modern amenities. Only about 40% of the population has access to clean water. Next, looking at SaskGather IQ again, we saw some data and some charts saying only 2.5% of the Earth's water is fresh water, and much of that is locked away in glaciers. And in the past 100 years, world water consumption has grown twice as fast as world population, putting a strain on the Earth's freshwater supply. Clean water is vital to a healthy life. Water scarcity is the lack of sufficient available water resources to meet the demands of water usage within a region. Lastly, water scarcity affects more than 40% of the global population, and this is expected to rise. Some more data, we can look at the website Our World in Data, and it says the UN has identified 8 targets and 11 indicators for SDG 6. These specify the goals and indicators represent the metrics by which the world aims to track whether these targets are achieved. So, for example, one target was safe and affordable drinking water, and the indicator for this would be having safe drinking water. Another important target was by 2030 achieving universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all. The indicator for this was the proportion of population using safely managed drinking water services. Looking at the US versus Switzerland, we can say that the US has 98% of the population using safely managed drinking water services. 97% of the population uses safely managed sanitation services. 98% of domestic wastewater is safely treated, and 49% proportion of bodies of water with good ambient water quality. Similar to the US, both of these countries have great qualities of water, and Switzerland, 97% of the population uses a safely managed drinking water service. 100% of the population uses a safely managed sanitation service. 99% of domestic wastewater is safely treated, and 79% of monitored water bodies have good ambient water quality. So, how can we use GIT to address SDG 4 challenges? One way would be through water quality monitoring, and we can use IoT sensors that detect pollutants and pH in real time. These can also predict contamination events and source tracking, while also monitoring lakes, rivers, and reservoir for changes. So another solution would be through water access and infrastructure management. We can do this through smart water grids. Specifically, they can track leaks, flow rates, and optimize distribution, while also securely recording water rights and transactions. Lastly, one way we could use GIT would be through global data collaboration, and we can use big data platforms that combine global data on water use, population, and sanitation. Thank you for listening to my presentation.